Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collingwood for YouTube, resident _of _Collingwood for BitChute. And I'm here to do a Dark Shadows video tonight. Now, no one requested one, but I'm doing one anyway. And it's the Widows of Widows Hill, and I'm going to talk about the legend of Widows Hill. The legend of Widows Hill is these women who were married to these sailors jumped to their death because their husbands never came home. Their husbands died at sea. So they wanted to be with them, even in death, even if that meant death. And when you hear that, it sounds so sad and just so disheartening. And it is. I'm not trying to laugh, but to think of it, it's like it's insane, right? So I have the names written down here. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. The widows' names: Rachel Comstock, Abigail Tolliver, and Margaret Finley. So when I think about that, and I think about the widows who jumped into, jumped off of Widow's Hill and died. Widow's Hill legend, are they significant names? It's not that their names are significant, it's what they've done that's significant, and it's the it's the fact that their significance, it brings the name of the hill itself. Them jumping to their death dubs it Widow's Hill. And Roger alludes to it too in the beginning episodes. Why do you think this place is called? Have you ever wondered why this place is called Widow's Hill? And so their significance, it's not so much who they are, but it's what they've done. They've inadvertently created this own legend around this hill. And the legend is, in fact, true. These women jumped to their death because they wanted to be with their husbands. As Roger put it, there was no mast over the horizon. They the fact that they were that committed to their husbands, it's crazy, right? It's insane. You couldn't think of, you have your whole life ahead of you, but they didn't see it that way. They felt their life was meaningless without their husbands. Without, and Collinsport is a sailing town. That's the life you would have lived back in the day. Of You would have had to support your family by being a boat captain or working on a boat. So, and your chance of losing your life at sea is high. I mean, especially back then, even now, even. But for them to just jump to their death, to boom, off the rocks, the jagged rocks below, and there is a prophesized fourth widow who joined him. Here's what's weird though. When you think about Josette, isn't Josette technically the fourth widow? I mean, when you think about it, even though her reasons are separate from theirs. Now, she more jumps because she's put under a spell by Angelique, so maybe hers doesn't count the way theirs does. So I could see her not being considered a fourth widow. But in fact, she is a widow. Her husband does die. Again, though, she's under a spell, though, too, when she jumps. So there is that. Now, is Josette's death the most famous? Yep. I mean, when you think about the three other women, it's not their names that are significant, but when you think about Josette Collins, her name is significant because of her last name, married name, Collins. She married a Collins, and she leapt to her death. And they don't have the legit reason why. They don't have, it was because she was put under a spell and she saw Barnabas as a vampire and she jumped. No, no, no. They don't have that in the family history, God forbid, because they're going to lie their ass off and say, no, she just jumped because of Jeremiah. But now they don't write in Jeremiah's death, that they just write Jeremiah left her. And it's just, it's insane that Josette's death even is somewhat a lie. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. It is. It really is. It's just, I can't really put it into great words of how crazy it is, but it's just crazy. Now, when I think of all the other people that jumped, Adam jumped off Widow's Hill and lived. You know, that was nuts. But he's the only person that actually willingly just leapt. He just jumped off to get away from people, and he lived. Um, Vicky was apparently pushed. Oh goodness! But do do I count that? No, no, I don't. Listen. The oldest logic is if you didn't see a body, then they're not dead. The widows, their bodies are their ghost. That's your evidence that they jumped. And to me, the only way I would believe Victoria actually died from a jump off is if you literally would have filmed Alexandra Isles as a ghost. That's it. Other than that, no, I don't believe a goddamn thing. I don't believe it. I'm in denial. And I will forever be in denial. It's Dark Shadows. You gotta have fun, right? So, my favorite part of Widow's Hill is, even though it has that legend, right? People go there. Vicky goes there because the view is so beautiful. Carolyn goes there. People go out there. Elizabeth goes there. They go there and they look out to the sea. It's such a beautiful view. It makes you think of all those locations, like places like Lookout Point and all that, that have this beautiful scenery, but have a tragedy of tales to go with it. And Dark Shadows captured that. The writers of Dark Shadows, Dan Curtis, they captured, I'm going to mess up his name, uh, Romanoff, I believe. If I butchered his last name, I apologize. But he did it so well. They captured Widow's Hill so well, not just from a shot standpoint, but from a story standpoint. They told you enough about it, but they left so much imagination to go with it that it's hypnotic, that you would want to stand there and look out to the sea, despite the legend, despite, the stories, the three widows, the destined fourth widow. And think, Bill Malloy's body washed out beneath Widow's Hill. So that's what's amazing. There's so much history around Widow's Hill. It's it's crazy. It's like a friend of mine, a friend of mine, we're discussing Darnell Weeks. Shout out to him, the Myers fan. Places are like characters themselves, and he's right. They are. When you think of the Myers house, it's like a character. When you think of Crystal Lake is as much of a character as Jason. Elm Street is much of a character as Freddy. Collinwood, Collinsport, Widow's Hill, they are as much characters as the actual characters themselves, the people. And that's what really makes them so well established and part of the story, that they are literally characters themselves, these places. And Widow's Hill especially is one of the best characters about Dark Shadows and Collinwood itself, despite its legacy, despite all the death that surrounds it. Because despite all that death, it keeps people going up there and looking out to the sea. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know you guys' thoughts on Widow's Hill. I'm going to tag everybody in this. I want to hear from you. What is your thoughts on Widow's Hill, the legend of it? Definitely want to hear from you guys. All right, guys, you have a good night. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.